All right, peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to the Mixed Metals Podcast. I did take a week off, but that's only because I am preparing to do at least two episodes a week. Uh Moving forward up until sports and stuff start to slow down a little bit. Um I won't bore you with the stuff that I missed over the last couple weeks. Um There is an ongoing investigation into like illegal gambling habits and stuff like that with Chauncey Billups, which was shocking. Terry Rozier and Damon Jones. I thought that was just very interesting. Um, I mean, the thing about it is that people were saying like as soon as gambling became legal like across all states with sports betting that there was going to be some fishy stuff going on and all of that, but the Chauncey Billups thing doesn't even seem to be like involved in that side of it, which I thought that was very interesting. And I don't understand the need or the want to gamble, to do illegal things gambling wise when you have unlimited resources, so to speak. um I don't know. I'm curious to know like if we could ever get like an interview of the suspects, I guess, and just ask them like what like why, you know what I mean? I know it's a very simple question, but I would, I mean, in theory, you would want just a very simple answer, like just why, like what's up, like what's like what's going on mentally for you to feel the need to do that. Um, anyway, it's been a very high octane start to the NBA season. I think I saw that it was a record 16 40-point plus games in opening week, which was an NBA record. Um, Basically, if you wanted 40 points, you got 40 points. Wemby had an unbelievable game. Um, I think he had 40 something points, 15 rebounds, no turnovers, um, on like 70% shooting or something insane like that. He was that was one of the most unreal like highlight reels that I've ever seen. Um, I just think we so like it's so dope to be where we are with like sports, because we are at a point where like I feel this is just my humble opinion. I feel that we are at the absolute highest amount of just straight up athleticism and uh drive for competition that we've ever been. Um And with that being said, I think that it's dope to see it like kind of elevate. Like you would think that for me, my favorite basketball player of all time, my favorite two of all time are LeBron and Carmelo. And you would think like as far as LeBron goes, like yes, he's doing things different than the generation before him, but then you see a Wemby who we've seen players over 7 feet. Um, you know, play and be good and do several things, but we've never seen uh a 7'5" guy who was 7'4" last season um be able to do what Wimby has been able to do. Like we've had the Taco Falls and the Thon Makers, and I think Ball is pretty tall. There was an Indian guy who, yeah, that's his name. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I don't want to get it wrong. Sim Bular. And yikes, I'm so sorry. Do apologize if mess up his name. Santam Singh Bamara. Both of them were 7'5". Um, and or no, Sync was 7-2. I think he's giving me three different people here. Anyway, Sim Bular, I remember him. Um, he was just huge. Like he was 7'5", 360 pounds. Obviously Wimby is nowhere near that. But it's just like we've seen super tall basketball players before, but we have just never, ever, ever seen anything like what Wimby is doing. And I just think that that's dope. And I pray that he's able to stay healthy. I put in a comment of like one of his highlight videos that like somebody was talking about how he's a future gold and how like those kinds of things, and I was like, we're all like fortunate to be living in this era, like living in a time where we get to see somebody like him, no matter who you're a fan of. Because I've never been a Spurs fan. Um, one of my homies is one of my closest brothers is, and he's just living life right now. Dylan Harper is still good. um Vassell is pretty good. Castle is pretty good. I mean, they building something out there with the Spurs. And I think it's interesting that we're seeing this because the Spurs are 4-0 right now. I think is interesting that we're seeing the Spurs be good again, at least at this point, and then to see the Patriots be good again, at least at this point. It just seems like it's you would think that your dynasty stops at some point or whatever, but it seems that um, as long as you got the right people in place, you'll be able to make the right decisions. And it seems that Robert Kraft has a good staff out there, and then Pop moving on from coaching to being in the front office. I'm sure that that's worked wonders for them. Um, and I hope I hope Pop is okay, and I hope that he's smiling at just what he's seeing from his Spurs. He deserves it. But moving on, Giannis is out tonight. Giannis is playing some MVP basketball at the moment. Let's see if I can find. Uh, I didn't realize Giannis was only 30. I guess that's not like super duper young, but I don't know. Anyway, he is averaging 36 points per game this season. 36.3 points, 57% from three, which I mean, I don't expect that to last, but uh if you round up, it's 70% field goal percentage, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.3 blocks a game, uh 3.3 turnovers. But I mean, he is playing some unbelievable basketball right now. Let's see if I can just okay. So in the 4 games that he's played, uh he hasn't gotten under 30. He's gotten started the season off with 37. Next game he had 31. Next game he had 40. Next game he had 37. As I mean, and then he was kind of in a lot of trade speculation, I guess you could say, this season or this off season especially, which is fair because like the Bucks don't appear to be um in a win now mode, and I think that at the point that Giannis is in his career, he would like to like he cares more about more rings than anything. I think he's gotten his money, he's gotten his MVPs, he's gotten his Finals MVP. He's one of the greatest players to ever play. Um, so I think that at that point in a great's career, like what they expect, um, everything else is dessert. At this point in his career. So it did make sense, but I think that he is trying to will the Bucks to to some kind of deep playoff run, if not a finals run. I don't see him making the finals, but you never know. Uh my 76ers are also undefeated. Tyrese Maxey is playing out of his mind. Um VJ Edgecombe, so far so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. It's been up, kind of up and down from Joel Embiid, but he did have about 25 points in like 20 minutes the other night. So, if he can do that, do things like that in bunches, then I think we'll be okay. Paul George is still injured, whatever. Um, and as of right now, just to give you the scores of like what's happening at this very moment. Um, let's see what we got. Uh, the Magic, who are off to a rough start so far, they're 1-4. They're up on the Hornets, 71-58. Uh, Warriors are up on the Bucks. The Warriors are 4-1 right now, 11-6 on the over the Bucks. Um, Thunder 5-0, best record in the league, I'm pretty sure. Um, down to the Wizards 6-8. Not that really, it don't. I guess it don't really matter when I report on NBA scores because they change so like frequently. So anyway, we are headed into week 9 with the game just started. The Ravens at the Dolphins. This is Lamar's first game back. So I don't want to take up too much time because I do want to get back to that. Get to watching that game. Um, I'm seeing that the Cardinals are preparing for Kyler Murray to come back from his injury and start against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they're like kryptonite has always been the Cardinals for whatever reason. Puka Nakua says that he's ready for this game against the Saints, this upcoming game against the Saints. Uh, let's see. Um, Not looking too good for Mike McDaniel right now. I will go over the scores of this past week. Uh, I don't think I reported on or said anything about. Oh, maybe I did. I guess I will go over last week. So Chargers beat the Vikings. I think I went over that. I'm pretty sure I did. Uh, Dolphins beat the hell out of the Falcons 34-10. The Falcons look hopeless at the moment, and they had Kirk Cousins had to start because Michael Penix is injured. Um, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I got a bet. I got a season long bet with one of my homies about the 49ers and the Falcons. I bet that the 49ers end the season with a better record than the Falcons. So right now it's looking good for me. Jets got their first win of the season over the Bengals with a 1 point win, 39-38. So I wonder if that's a scoregami. That seems like a weird final score. Patriots beat the Browns 32-13. Eagles got their revenge over the Giants 38-20. And the Giants lost Cam Scatterboo for the season with an ankle fracture or injury, break. I don't know what I'm dislocation, all kind of stuff. Um, Bills put it on the Panthers 40-9, giving the Panthers their first home loss this season. Ravens did beat the Bears 30-16 without Lamar. Uh, Texans beat the 49ers in like what a game. I mean, the Texans were dying to lose that game, but my 49ers are dealing with so many injuries and even more in the game to where they traded for a guy for an edge rusher or a defensive end this past week. So I just if they can get healthy, then I think we'll be all right. Buccaneers beat the Saints 23-3. Very underwhelming game from Baker. The Bucks just haven't seemed to be themselves over the past couple weeks. Broncos did beat the Cowboys 44-24. Colts best record in football 7-1. Improved to 7-1 with a win over their division opponent, the Titans, 38-14. And the Packers did beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Um, that was Aaron Rodgers' chance to join the exclusive club of a quarterback beating every team. Um, and then on Monday, the Chiefs beat the Commanders 28-7. Uh, Even in a game where Mahomes threw two picks, unbelievable. We got a 18 inning classic in the World Series the other night. But the Blue Jays do lead the series 3-2, I believe. Or is it 3-1? Yeah, it's 3-2 right now. Um, and they're headed back to Toronto. So we'll see what happens there. That game is tomorrow, Halloween, of course. Um, oh, I do want to mention the fact that I had like a brief segment on um I wasn't trying to make it specifically about what's his name, Brian Kelly, but it kind of ended up being about Brian Kelly and about how he got like opportunities off of a very mediocre resume, in my opinion, and how he got opportunities that uh several black coaches will never be afforded. Um, and he got fired this past week after LSU got smoked at home, where they rarely lose allegedly, um, by Texas A&M. I think if that game was closer, I think that Brian Kelly still has his job. Um, they look listless out there. They had like the stadium was damn near empty by the time the game was over. You never want that in the home SEC stadium. So I'm pretty sure that was part of it. But Brian Kelly just bottom line didn't get the job done, and he doesn't get the job done anywhere he goes. But he will stay with an opportunity for until he is no longer with us. He will always have an opportunity to coach at a big program. Um, and that's something that I don't understand. That's something that I will never understand. But it is what it is. LSU is a hot job. Anybody would want a job at LSU. Uh, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a lot of vacancies in the SEC next season. I think that Hugh Freeze is out of there. I think that a lot of people are speculating about Lane Kiffin moving from one school to another. Florida having a job opening is interesting in that storyline. Um, let's see who else. Arkansas is obviously looking for a coach. They got an interim coach right now. Um, let's see. LSU, Florida. I think Auburn will be looking for a coach. Arkansas is definitely looking for a coach. Um, they're thinking that Beamer from South Carolina will end up going to Virginia Tech, leaving the South Carolina job open. If my advice means anything, which it doesn't in the grand scheme of things, but I think you stay at South Carolina. South Carolina just gave my Alabama hell this past weekend. That's hands down one of the toughest places to play in the SEC, and I just think um with the transfer portal and those kinds of things, the parity in the league is much more common. And I just think that if we look at Vanderbilt, 2 years ago Vanderbilt had won maybe 3 or 4 games. And right now they are like 7-1, I believe. Um, so yeah, I just think that you want to take advantage of those opportunities. Anybody would love to coach in the SEC. Um, and for with good reason, because it's the best league in college, college football definitely, uh college basketball right now too. We got Florida just won the championship, but um I just, I wouldn't advise leaving the SEC school, especially for a Virginia Tech. And there's no disrespect to Virginia Tech. Um, I've definitely enjoyed seeing Inside the NBA on ESPN. I hope that they extend like their appearances or like, add to their appearances because right now it's a like sporadic schedule. I think they did last week, this week, and then maybe next week or maybe like the week after next or something like that. Um, it's not going to be every week, which I think is a mistake. I think if they know what's good for them, they would keep inside the NBA. I think that their ratings probably skyrocketed with inside the NBA being on ESPN. Uh, let's see. Oh, we saw moving off of sports, we saw uh one battle after another. That's my first Paul Thomas Anderson film. Uh, one of the best movies I've ever seen. The way I can describe it is that like every scene in that movie, you cared about something. Um, and with it being a almost 3 hour movie, I think that's remarkable. I can't think of very many movies where I've seen that where that has happened. Even my favorite movies of all time, I can't think that I don't think that there was like I think that there was some throwaway scenes, but there was not one throwaway scene in this movie. And it made me interested to go like kind of back into PTA's filmography. So I think the next movie of his that I'm gonna watch is There Will Be Blood. That's the one that I've heard the most like praise about. So I'm interested to see that. Um, Other than that, we got some music that came out in the past couple weeks. Goldfish by Alchemist and Hit Boy. Alchemist is back rapping. Uh, like he reminds me so much of Rock Marciano. Um, so that's been cool. West Side Gun is dropping The Hills Have Eyes 3 tonight. If you're listening to this right now. Um, there's a couple more people. I think Offset is dropping. Tyler the Creator is doing like a one song deluxe for his album. But the song he was saying, I read an interview, I guess, of his where he was saying that it's like it's the song that the album was built around. So I mean that got me hyped for the song. Yeah, other than that, Battlefield came out with a new battle royale mode. I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen it. It looks gorgeous. I think I'm gonna try it tonight. Outer Worlds 2 came out. I still got to finish the Outer Worlds 1. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I definitely am about to get into that as well. Um, I do think that's it though. So I will probably be back between probably this weekend. Um, and I think that'll be my you know process moving forward. Just it won't be a specific set of days, just as long as I get 2 episodes out a week. For a look for the time being. Other than that, that's I thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed your time. And I will see you later on this week. Peace.